What is going on? Welcome into another edition of the DFS OGs podcast here on RotoGrinders.com. Chop Noto Beer here to break down everything in Week 7 from a betting perspective. We'll give you some of our best bets, survivor picks. We'll look back at last week. One of us went 5 for 5 with our best bets last week, so we'll talk about that. But got to shine a spotlight on our sponsor, BetMGM. Make sure you head over there. Use promo code GRINDERS, risk-free bet up to $1,000. So glad to have them as part of the show. Take advantage of this limited time offer. Can't beat it. Guys, week 6 in the books. We're cruising right along. We're finding our groove. Noto, I'm going to start with you. 5 for 5 on the best bets last week. So people happy about that. You're spitting out some winners. Puts you to 17 and 13 on the season. And survivor pick was the Rams, so you move on there as well. So solid week in the betting world. Noto, how was DFS in week 6?
Yeah, really good week overall. I mentioned the betting. Pretty good week of DFS as well. The survivor advanced, and I think we went 12 and 3 in our best bets overall. So pretty good week for the crew, and hopefully we can keep it going. I seem to trade off good and bad weeks, so hopefully that won't happen this week.
Yep, 12 and 3 is indeed the record. We'll go to Chop. Chop tried out an old new system last week. Chop 3 and 2. That's a winning week. Puts you back to even on the season, 15 and 15. So head above water almost. So I'm feeling a 5 for 5 coming. How was week 6, my man?
Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't bad. I can't complain about it. So yeah, I will stick with the same system as last week. It seemed to work okay.
The old first look, I went 4 for 5 last week, so still leading the way here, expecting you guys to make a charge, as you always do. Sitting at 19 and 11 now on the season. So we'll look to stay hot here in week 7. Guys, let's get right into the games here. Thursday night, Saints and Cardinals, first game on deck. A lot of injury news right before we started recording. No Michael Thomas, no Jarvis Landry. No Marshawn Lattimore for the Saints. Chris Olave expected back in the lineup. And, of course, Arizona, you lose Hollywood Brown. You enter DeAndre Hopkins into the lineup. They trade for Robbie Anderson. So, Chop, we'll start with you. Lots of moving pieces here. Lots of injuries in this game. Latest spread on this one, we have the Cardinals sitting at 2.5 point favorites here at BetMGM. Total sitting at 44.5. So, Chop, what are we doing here? A lot of injuries to work through, a lot of new pieces working their way into the lineup, back into the lineup. We've seen the struggles defensively for the Saints, offensively for the Cardinals. Which one is going to get remedied here on this Thursday night?
Yeah, good question. I have no idea. Like, the Saints are a massive disappointment to me right now. They just don't look that good. And, yeah, unfortunately for them, They traded away their first-round pick this year. I think that belongs to the Eagles, so they can't just sit back and tank or anything. They gotta step it up and see what they can do. But I'm disappointed in them. And the Cardinals are the Cardinals are just, man, watching them play ball. I don't know what's going on out there. The offense, this guy's an offensive guru, and the offense looks so disoriented right now. Now, I have no doubts that getting DeAndre Hopkins back is going to make a big difference. But he can't suffer too many more losses, or he won't be coaching this team very much longer, Kingsbury. So I think they turn around. I'd take the Cardinals here. I definitely can't give them a best bet the way they've acted this year. So I would lean towards the Cardinals, but it's an interesting game. Somebody's going to be 2 and 5, and their playoff hopes are going to be really dashed early.
Yeah, I was just going to add, I hate the term must win, but no, I mean, going to 2 and 5, you're pretty much sunk unless you go on some historic kind of run here. So one of these teams is facing that 2 and 5 record here. How do you see this one playing out? I'm kind of with Chop, but just so many question marks here. Hopkins has been, a godsend to Kyler Murray. When you look at some of the splits, much better with him in the lineup. But again, you lose Brown. So I lean the Cardinals here as well. What are you doing here on Thursday night?
Yeah, when in doubt, I'll kind of just lean towards those DeAndre Hopkins splits that you mentioned. His numbers just, vastly better across the board. And this term, offensive genius for Kingsbury, is that a self-appointed title? I mean,
gotta be.
Where did this come from? I mean, they scored 9 points against the Seahawks. They scored 3 points in the first quarter of the entire season. Yeah, I'm worried about the Cardinals. I'm worried about the Saints. This is an ugly game. Definitely not a best bet for me.
Chop, doesn't this go back to college with this guy? Like, he wasn't good there either, and the numbers were bad. I don't know how he got this legendary status here. Is that accurate?
I think he was an under 500 coach at Texas Tech, but and he had guys like Mahomes come through there too. So it wasn't like he was deprived of a quarterback. Like, it's just one of those things. He put up some good offenses. Obviously, didn't put up some overall good teams. And now the offense is really stagnant. What happened, I think, is the NFL. You can't have the same system for very long on offense. People will figure it out. You've got to be able to adjust and change. And I don't think he's doing that. So now it's all catching up to him. He won't last very long at this rate.
Let's just hope we get a better Thursday night game than we've had the last 2 weeks. Which game was worse, Chop? Washington and the Bears, or we go back to 2 weeks ago with Denver and the Colts? Both were horrific games. Barely any touchdowns. In fact, no touchdowns in that Denver-Indy game. Which one was worse? They're both were horrible.
Washington, the Bears for me. Just at least with the other two teams, there's you could watch Russell Wilson implode. That's always fun. Or you can see, Matty Ice out there, or whatever, or there's hope for one of these teams might make the playoffs. Man, with that Chicago-Washington game, like, what is the point? What is even the point? Like, the Siege had a gif of himself that time. Like, what is the point of that? Because there's these teams aren't even making the playoffs. They're terrible. Awful football.
Don't know any thoughts on these terrible. Which game was worse of those two? Debacles?
No, they're all bad. You can't compare two things that are equally bad. So, yeah, I don't have a take. We just need some better games.
Yeah, hopefully we get one here. If you're watching on YouTube, first of all, take a second and click that thumbs up button. We appreciate that. But on the screen, you will see our scores and odds page, the ability to dig into these games, see the spreads across all of the different sports books, premium picks there. You'll see that there's already some picks up for this game. So if you have not checked it out, get over there and go and dig around. A ton of information, not only in the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB playoffs are going on right now. So a lot of great information in there. All three of us are giving picks over there every single week. So go and check out scoresandodds.com. All right, let's get in to Sunday. We got the Lions and the Cowboys leading us off here. Lions coming off a bye. Dallas coming off that loss in Philadelphia. We got Dallas as 7-point favorites. That's ticked up from 6.5 at open. Total sitting at 49 here at BetMGM. So, Noto, let's go to you for this one. The Lions expected to get some of their guys back. Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown, at least sounds promising here. Dallas may see the return of Dak Prescott. We haven't seen official word on that, but sounds like he's trending towards a return. Pretty high total here. We know Detroit offensively can put up points, defensively can allow points. Dallas's defense, though, been fairly solid here, so not the easiest matchup for Detroit. So touchdown, too high, too low. What are you doing in this one?
Yeah, lost my train of thought here. Was scrolling through Twitter, and a video of Jameis Winston stealing home against Max Fried just popped up on the timeline. So I guess he played some baseball back in the day. Interesting. Anyway, Lions coming off the bye. They're a team that I like to bet as an underdog. I don't know. I mean, Dallas, obviously getting Dak back, right? So I would lean towards the over. I think some points are going to be scored in this one. The Lions haven't been able to stop anybody, but I don't have a strong take on the spread.
All right, I'm locking in a best bet here. I think the Lions an extra week here. I worry about Dallas's defense for sure, but I think the Lions can do enough here. Even if Dak's back, what does he look like? Is it going to take some time to get things rolling again? So I think this stays mostly competitive within a touchdown. I'm going to take the Lions and the points here as my first best bet of the week. Chop, this is your team here. The Cowboys, can they bounce back after that loss in Philly? How does Detroit look coming off a bye? What are you doing in this one?
Yeah, this is nothing for me. I don't have – I would like to take the Cowboys, but I can't bet. I'm not going to bet against a team that's coming off a bye like this. So I have absolutely no lean on this. I have no opinion on this thing. If I was going to lean anything, I would throw the over out there and just – hope Detroit got into its typical fall behind and then shootout game, but I don't have a lean at all.
All right, couple leans to the over. I'm locking in the Lions plus the points. First best bet on the board. Next game, Giants sitting at 5-1. And we continue to question this team. They continue to get it done. They travel down to take on Noto's Jacksonville Jaguars, now 2-4. Tough loss last week in Indianapolis. 3-point spread in this one, same as open in favor of Jacksonville. Total down there at 42.5 here on this game. So, Chop, let's go to you. We continue to question the Giants. They continue to get it done. Jacksonville looked like they were turning things around and now have hit a slide here, but they are favorites here at home. Feels like this is one the public would be all over the Giants. So let me look at the betting splits here on scores or not. Yep, 65% of the bets coming in on the Giants. Money is about split on this one, Chop. So does Jacksonville bounce back? Do the Giants continue to put W's on the board?
You got to lock me in here. Best bet. Got to go Jacksonville here. I just think this might be pretty close to the most fraudulent 5-1 team ever. Like they're not good.
There.
The Giants they're not good. I don't know how they keep pulling it out, but they're not good. So I think Jacksonville has, they're 2-4 and they've hit a skid, but they've shown me a lot more than what the Giants have. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock in Jacksonville to regress, both these teams to regress a little bit to the mean.
You got a nice grin out of your Jacksonville fan here, our Jacksonville expert. Noto, like that pick. Is he going to join you, Chop? Noto, Jacksonville at home against the Giants here. What are you doing with this 3-point spread?
Yeah, had to give a little fist pump there for the Jags. We've been betting against them, and it's been working. And they hooked us up last week. Looked like we were gonna, lose the Colts pick on the hook there. Looked like they were gonna win by 2, but the Jags let them score a touchdown. So that was nice. But give me the Jags here. I don't believe in the Giants. If you look at just total DVOA, Jags still top 10 in the league. If you look at the Giants, they're 19th right now, and the Jags very good against the run. So I think they're gonna be able to, hold Saquon Barkley in check, and just think it's a good spot to get back on the Jags when everyone thinks the Giants are great.
Is that a best bet on the Jags? Or
yeah.
Okay, two for 3 on the Jags there. -3 at home. 2 best bets on the board. Next game for us, Colts and Titans. Indy coming off a big win against Jacksonville last week. Titans coming off a bye. Indy sounds good on Jonathan Taylor. Nyheim Hines both back at practice today. That's Wednesday. So trending towards a return here. We have a 2.5-point spread in favor of the Titans. That is up from 1.5 at open. Total at 42.5. That's ticked up a half as well. So, Noto, we'll go to you. Again, injuries, tough to do it much on a Wednesday, but assuming they get Taylor and Hines back, or even one of the two here against the Titans, these games always close between these two teams. We saw Tennessee win this one in Indy a couple weeks ago. Small home favorite here. What are you doing in this AFC South showdown?
Yeah, I hate betting against teams coming off the bye, but I do like the Colts in this one. I pulled up the box score at halftime against the Jags, and Matt Ryan aired it out 37 times in the first half. I couldn't believe it. And they were moving the ball. He was finally working it downfield a little bit. Michael Pittman got going to get Jonathan Taylor back. I like that. The Titans' defensive line doesn't get a ton of pressure on the opposing quarterbacks, so I'll take the Colts to get a little revenge against the Titans. They did last week against the Jags. Not a best bet, but I do like them in this one.
I don't have any leans in this one. The total spread, I'm abstaining from this one. Just no strong feelings here. Maybe a slight lean to the over. 41 points in that last game that they matched up here. But Chop, I'm kind of staying away from this one. Small spread, two teams that know each other well. What are you doing here, Titans and Colts?
Yeah, I don't really have a pick here. I think it's pretty fair spread and pretty good teams going at it. So I don't have a lean. I will say this much though. I know you guys heard. I don't know if you heard the Tennessee passed the bill to get their new stadium out there in Tennessee.
Okay, I have not heard.
Yeah, they got like some big. I don't know. I forget how much it is. It's a lot of money, and I think it's going to be a dome stadium. Now, that's a travesty for football. Yeah, I get it for baseball, you know.
Roth was pissed.
But for football and Tennessee, that's good weather. That's great weather for football. Why would you want to be stuck in a dome? But I don't have a lean on the game, though.
And then you have it, Chicago, all these teams up north without a dome, New York, New England. Yeah, that don't make any sense. That's silly, but we'll see. All right, next game. The Falcons, my Falcons here, 6-0 against the spread. Hooked me up again last week. Now hitting the road to take on Cincinnati, coming off a big win in New Orleans last week. We're sitting right as we were at open. Cincy -6. Total at 47.5. I see a pick already locked in. You can see the little gold bar here. So I go on there. Oh, Notorious has got a pick here. So we'll save that. Chop, I'm going to go to you here. Falcons have been good. This is a big test, though. Going on the road, Cincinnati, starting to figure some things out. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, a huge combo last week going back to New Orleans. What are we doing here? We know Atlanta loves to run the ball. They barely want to throw the ball. Their hand may be forced here. Cincinnati likely going to put points on the board. 6-point spread here, Chop. What do you got? Falcons, Bengals.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. I don't have a lean because the one of the two things is going to happen, like you just said. If the Falcons don't get forced to do anything, they're just going to grind some clock down, and then at that point, it's tough to cover that 6-point spread if they're just eating up the clock. But if they get put behind the 8 ball, Cincy will cover easy because they're not a passing team. They're not a very good passing team. So I don't know which direction that's going to take. For those reasons, I'm going to not bet this game on a lock. If I had to lean on anything, I would lean towards the Bengals. But there's nothing big time about that.
So I've been riding Atlanta week after week, seemingly. It's been good. I think this is where I'm hopping off the ride. Noto, I'm going to go to you. I know you're big on Cincinnati this week. I already have them locked in this week. So I just worry that this is going to be a game that their hand's going to be forced. So San Francisco, part of it is they got lucky with some of the injuries defensively for San Francisco. Just they're a shell of their defense. So what normally is rolled out there. I think Cincy puts points on the board. It's just going to be a bad game script here for Atlanta, but they have been running the ball and they've been running it very, very effectively. Noto, you're high on Cincinnati here. I feel the best bet coming. I am not going to be locking in this game. What are you doing here, Bengals and Falcons?
Yeah, I do love Cincy in this one. Look, the way to beat the Bengals is to get pressure on the quarterback. The Falcons dead last in adjusted sack rate at 4% this season. So if you give Burrow time, I think he's just going to, shred this defense. You guys mentioned, Atlanta wants to run the ball, and that is a small concern. DJ Reader has missed the last couple of games for the Bengals. He's their best run stopper. But, we'll see if he ends up playing. But either way, I think they're going to jump out to a lead, and then, Atlanta, all good things come to an end. We've been riding them all season on the spread, and I think it's a good time to hop off.
Yeah, 6-0. I mean, you're bound to see some regression there on that number. Cincinnati's defense, a little bit underrated as well. 8th, according to DVOA, middle of the road against the run. But you load up, you stop the run. I think the game plan is going to get out there on this team. So not going to bet the Bengals, not going to go back to the Falcons, just going to leave this game alone. Derek, is that a best bet on the Bengals?
Yep, lock me in.
All right, best bet. All right, next game, Browns and Ravens, Cleveland. Very disappointing last week, dropping that, getting hammered against New England. They're now 2-4. Baltimore, a disappointing performance from Lamar Jackson once again. They drop one to the Giants, so two teams kind of stumbling in to this one. Spread-wise, we have Baltimore -6.5 here at BetMGM with the total at 45.5. So, Derek, we'll stay with you. Two teams struggling. Baltimore clearly the better team. Do they cover this spread, though, against Cleveland, who has been competitive outside of last week? They've stayed in most games. Was last week kind of the drubbing that puts them down? Do they bounce back? What are you doing here, Browns, Ravens?
This one's a tough one for me. The Ravens were getting by with a lot of big plays early in the season, and then they just haven't gotten them the last couple of weeks. Maybe Bateman comes back for this one. And the Browns, man, it seems like they're going to win every week except for last week, and then they just end up blowing it. But for me, I think the Browns are going to lean a little bit more on the run. Baltimore, bottom 10 rush defense so far this season. I think they're going to get Nick Chubb going. So given the fact that these two teams know each other, division battle, I'll just take the points and hope it stays relatively competitive.
All right, no best bet here. I'm probably leaning on the other side with Baltimore, especially if it's going to be under a touchdown. Although it does feel like a trap chop. That 6.5 is always interesting. They feel like you want you to take Baltimore here. So not going to lock any best bets in here, but I'm leaning towards the Ravens in this one. What are you doing here, Browns and Ravens?
Well, Browns and Ravens. First off, I'd like to say that I may be having some technical issues again this week, so you guys bear with me if that happens, because I'm getting the spinning circle again. So anyway, we're going to power through this thing, and I'm going to take this. Maybe I'll take this computer to a. I'm really scared to take my computer to a repairman, because then they can see all your stuff on there, and who knows, like everything's on your computer. So it petrifies me to have to take it somewhere. But we're getting to a point. I'm getting pretty irate about this whole thing.
Maybe you got an office space, this thing, Chop. Just take it out in the field and drop the hammer on it and get yourself a new one.
That'd be easier to do if I hadn't spent so much money on it and it was kind of new. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, fair enough.
It's that'd really hurt my feelings if I had to do that. But Browns, Ravens, I'd say I don't have a lean. I mean, I'd love to take I'll lean on the Ravens. I don't have a secure pick. The Browns are going to be missing Wyatt Teller. Like, their best part of their whole team is that offensive line, and that's a big piece of it. He's going to be out this week, I believe. So I would lean Ravens, but it's not a special bet for me.
All right, let's move on. Tampa Bay and Carolina. Tampa, a shocking loss in Pittsburgh last week. Did not look good. They fall to 3-3. Carolina, arguably the worst team in the league right now, sitting at 1-5. They fire their coach. Another start for PJ Walker here. That was announced today. Sam Darnold has been activated from IR, so we'll see if they bring him back. But I don't think it's going to matter here, Chop. This team is just terrible. Trade talks surrounding Christian McCaffrey, potentially DJ Moore. Now you face a Tampa team. Angry Tom, I'm sure, will be thrown around a lot this week, but 10, 11-point spread here. It seems like a lot of points for this Tampa Bay team. What are you doing, Tampa and Carolina?
I'm not seeing a whole lot out there on the board this week, so I'm going to lock in Tampa Bay and say that, that loss last week was a real slap in the face to Tom Brady. So I would say that they're going to come in motivated. The Panthers, like you said, not good. Missing their quarterback. Their second stringer got injured last week. All
right, Chop freezing up on us a little bit. We'll get him back. Technical difficulties. We'll power through here. Noto, big spread here. Do we get Angry Tom? Is he too distracted? I mean, I'm kind of sick of hearing about this guy and everything going on. But Carolina is that bad, where this is that spot where they can go get right.
Yeah, similar thoughts as Chop, in that I think Tom Brady's going to be angry. We thought he was going to be angry last week, and that didn't work. They were able to move the ball. They just couldn't score, and he's going to have a lot of time in the pocket. Panthers bottom 5 pass rush. So, yeah, I'm just going to take the over, because I think the Bucs can score 40 points on their own, and just give me a couple from Carolina and we'll be good. But, lock me in Survivor on the Bucs.
Couple points from Carolina might be asking a lot here. No, by the way. But, yeah, definitely feels like it should be a get-right spot. I mean, it could end up being like that Pittsburgh game where it's ugly, though. We'll see. I'm just going to leave this one alone. I don't have strong leans on the spread or the total in this one. Chop locking in Tampa as a best bet. Noto, best bet on Tampa?
No, I want the over,
okay.
But Survivors.
Okay, yeah. Survivors locked in. All right, Green Bay, Washington up next. Green Bay drops an ugly one to the Jets. So we talked about that last week, and I'm going to bring up the same point again this week, Noto. I don't understand why this team continues to be such big favorites. If I had to draw this line, sure, you make them the favorites, and I get it. Wentz is out. Tyler Heineke coming in. Maybe it's a 2.5, 3-point spread. Green Bay at 5.5 is obnoxious. It's too many points. It's too high. What have they done to be this high of a favorite here? So I'm going to go and lock in Washington. I locked in the Jets last week as a best bet. I'm locking in Washington. I don't think there's going to be a big drop-off from Wentz to Heineke. In fact, I think it'll be good news for Terry McLaurin, who had a good rapport with Heineke here. should be able to run the ball with Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson against this defense. And Green Bay just looks out of sort. Run D for Washington, solid. I don't know what they're going to turn around in 1 week. Give me Washington in the points. Frustrated Packers fan here, but at least I'm making money betting against them. Noto, let's go to you here. Am I wrong? Is this too many points? What are your thoughts here on this spread? Green Bay -5.5.
First of all, great call by you with the Jets. I stupidly put the Packers on one of my teasers, and that didn't work out. But yeah, I like to trust our resident experts here for the Packers and Cowboys. So I'll lean with you, Beer. You mentioned Heineke starting. He can make some plays with his legs. Wentz has little to no rushing upside at this point of his career, so I think it gives the offense a new dynamic. And Washington, pretty tough against the run. So yeah, I'll lean Washington with you, but probably not going to lock it in.
Chop, looks like we got you back for now, buddy. So let's get some thoughts here. Green Bay, Washington. I think Green Bay is riding on name value here. Maybe they get it going like we expect Tampa to, but just feels like too many points to me in this one.
Yeah, no real preference here. I would lean Green Bay, but can't lock them in. So I kind of agree with what you guys said.
All right, let's move on. Next game, we got the Jets. Speaking of the Jets, big win there in Lambeau. Did you guys see it? I'm sure you saw Sauce Gardner running around with the cheese head, Lazard knocking it off. I actually thought it was funny. People are so serious these days and offended by everything. Oh my God, how could he do? If you don't want the guy running around with a cheese head on your stadium, then don't let the Jets come in and whoop you 27-10. Simple as that. So I thought it was pretty entertaining. So Jets going to Denver now. Jets sitting at 4-2. Denver down at 2-4 and could potentially be without Russell Wilson here this week. We'll keep an eye on that. But this thing started at Denver -4. It's come all the way down to Denver -1 total, way down there at 38, Chop. So lots going wrong with Denver. Apparently, the coach and Melvin Gordon sat down and worked things out. He will be the starting running back this week. But again, we don't know the status of Russell Wilson. Are you believing this Jets team? I guess that is the question here. Now 4-2, going on the road once again. What are you doing here, Jets and Broncos?
Yeah, they had a great draft. I thought that on draft night. Great draft. So that'll boost you up like that when you nail your picks that big time. So I believe in them, but also believe that the Broncos might not be all that worse off if Russell sat out and got a little healthy right now. So I think I want to lock in Denver here just because at 2-4, it's another team that 4-2 on one side, 2-4 on the other. I'm going to lock in the Broncos because I really think they're going to come out and win this game with or without Russell. I think they come out and win this game.
Is that a best bet?
That's a best bet.
All right, Denver locking it in -1. Who is it Rippin? Is that the backup for Denver?
Yep.
Yikes. Okay. Well, what I'll say here, we know the Jets
can't be much worse than Russell.
Yeah. That's maybe it gets better. Who knows? But Denver's defense is what leans me towards Chop here. We know the Jets, similar to Atlanta, they want to run the ball 1,000 times with Breece Hall, Michael Carter, limit what Zach Wilson has to do. This is a good Denver D. Now, their weakness, if anything, is the run. 18th in DVOA against the run. Second overall defense, though, Noto. So defense is going to lead me to a Denver pick here. Not locking them in as a best bet. I am a believer in the Jets here, but a tough ass. This Denver defense has been pretty good against everybody.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be on an island in this one. If you pull up how much a percentage of the bets and how much money is on the Jets, it is like 90%, something crazy like that. So
public
3 for 3 with Denver, locking it in as well. You mentioned the defense, so they've only allowed 16.5 points per game to their opponents, and there were 2 overtime losses mixed in to that as well. So the defense is great. I don't think the offense is going to take any steps backwards if Wilson sits because there's not really much room to go backwards. They're pretty much bottom of the barrel. So, yeah, Denver's a tough place to play. Give me the home team.
Yeah, you can see these splits on Scores and Odds. Just another benefit to 88% of the bets, 83% of the money riding with the Jets. So you two locking in best bets on Denver. I lean towards Denver. Leaves that as a 3 for 3 pick for us. Next game. Vegas hosting the Houston Texans, coming off a bye here. Both teams desperately need a win, one each on the season here. Spread at 7 in favor of the Raiders here. That's up from 6.5 at open. total sitting at 45.5. I do have a best bet here on this game. Noto, I'm going to toss it to you here. Raiders injury question. Darren Waller did not practice as of this recording on Wednesday. And word is Damian Pierce, the guy they want to get the ball to even more on the Houston side. So Texans, Raiders, both teams desperate for a win here, Noto. What are you doing with this one?
Yeah, I think Lovie Smith today said he wants to give Pierce at least 20 carries per game, which is just a ton. Yeah, I mean, that would lead me to believe that it's going to be a lower scoring game. The Raiders kind of want to run the ball too. I would love to bet on the Raiders, but I just never get them right, whether I bet for them or against them. So I'll just take the under, and let's hear your best bet.
I'm locking in Houston. I've been a fan of this team as far as their competitiveness. They've battled, they've stayed in games, they've been in games they shouldn't have been on. They've gone on the road and done it. So this is too much respect for this Vegas team, in my opinion, who's also been competitive. That leads me to believe it's a 3, 4, 5-point game. It comes down to a Daniel Carlson field goal. If Houston can establish the run, get that ugly game going like they want to do, like you mentioned, Noto, I think it's just a closer game than the 7.5 would indicate. So I'm locking in another underdog here. I'm going with the Texans with the points as a best bet. Chop, Houston, Vegas. What do you got, buddy?
I'm with you. I'm locking in Houston. Both teams had a little bit of extra time here to prepare, and like Noto alluded to, both are probably going to want to come in and run. It's going to be a very fast game. As far as the clock ticking away, it's going to go by quickly. That bodes well for being a touchdown underdog. So I'm taking Houston here. I'm with you. They just compete in every game really hardcore. So I'll take Houston as a best bet. How many do I got left?
It looks like you got one by my count.
Okay, fair enough.
Noto, I have you for 3 bullets left. On yours, I have 2 remaining here for me. All right, next game, Kansas City, San Francisco, Chiefs 4-2. Coming off a tough loss at home against Buffalo. Certainly had every opportunity to win that game. Patrick Mahomes with the ball at the end throws a costly interception. Niners, as we know, traveled to Atlanta and dropped that one. So they sit at 3-3. This one opened up. Chiefs -1.5. That has ballooned up to 3. Total at 48.5. I have a best bet coming up on this one as well, but I'm going to toss it to Chop here. Chiefs, Niners. What are you doing here?
I do not have a best bet here. Can't spend it on this game because this just screams San Francisco to me. I'm not going to take it, but like everybody's going to be on the Chiefs here. I just don't see how they're not. So it screams Frisco. I would lean Frisco, but I can't lock in my best bet against Mahomes right now.
This is one of the rare times that I'm going to roll with the public here because I am on the Chiefs in this spot. And maybe it's a fish bet here, but San Francisco defensively are missing so many key pieces here. And you're doing it against Patrick Mahomes, team coming off a loss. We know Andy Reid, one of the best, coming off a bye, coming off a loss. I just think the Niners are outgunned here. You know, you're going to put the ball in Jimmy Garoppolo's hands likely. We know the Chiefs are going to score points. We know the Niners want to run the ball. They don't want to be winging it all over the place. I just don't feel comfortable with Jimmy G at the controls of a team playing from behind or even a competitive game having to throw a ton here. So normally I'm all about going against the public. I'm going to make the exception here on this one. No. Is this the fish bet? Am I on the fish side? I'm locking in the Chiefs. Best bet.
Oh, man. Similar to Chop, everything screams San Fran for me.
I hear you, but I'm with you.
It feels a lot like, you know, they lost to the Broncos in that ugly game on the road, and then they came back home and beat the Rams. Last week they lost, ugly game on the road to the Falcons, but I am worried about those defensive injuries that you mentioned. So it's a stay-away game for me, but I would lean towards San Fran.
All right, next game, Seattle and the Chargers. Seahawks now sitting at 3-3. Chargers 4-2. We have a 6-point spread here. That's down from a 7.5. Opening total way up there at 51. So, no, DFS, this game will be popular. I know there's some concerns with Geno Smith. Everybody hated him in the beginning. It's a joke. Then everybody loved him. Now he's a pumpkin again. So what Geno do we get here? We saw Ken Walker arrive on the scene, look good. We know you can run the ball against this Chargers team. So got to think he's going to be a popular play here this week in DFS. Chargers just never know. You know, they're the most talented team in football, in my opinion, when they're healthy. But we talk about this all the time, Noto. You never know what version of the Chargers you're going to get. You bet on them, they tend to shit the bed. You bet against them, and they roll. What are you doing in here, one, Seattle and the Chargers?
Yeah, just based on your point right there. So 95% of the money is on the Chargers in this one. Anytime the public just thinks the Chargers are going to roll, they end up making mistakes. The games end up being a lot closer than they should be. And then you mentioned, they struggle against the run. Walker looked great last week. I'm still, not officially a believer in Geno, but I'm coming around on the idea. So, I'll take the 6.5 points on the road. Doesn't feel good. I'm not locking it in, but that seems like a lot for a Chargers team that just finds itself in a lot of close games.
Yeah, I lean the Seattle way. I lean over here, even on that high number, but no conviction on these. This is just one of those weird games that two teams that we've seen the good and the bad from plenty here this season. Maybe Chop will give us a little bit more clarity here. Chop, what are you doing, Seahawks Chargers?
Yeah, I'm going to lock in the Chargers. Just a big Chargers believer in general. And I think the big thing this week is you get Keenan Allen back more than likely. That's Justin Herbert's favorite thing. That'll help out the whole offense, and I think the defense is good enough to control Geno Smith on the road. Geno Smith traveling on the road to LA. So I'm locking in the Chargers here.
All right, let's go to Sunday Night Football. Pittsburgh and Miami Steelers getting that big win at home against Tampa Bay, now 2-4. Miami, a tough loss to Minnesota, now 3-3. Sounding like Tua should be back for this game, so we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. We got a 7-point spread here. That's up from 6.5. Total has ticked up as well from 42.5, and now sitting at 44.5. So this is another one I have my last best bet ready to roll on this one. Chop, we'll toss it to you here. Steelers coming off a big win. Miami kind of in that no man's land at 3-3. I think they're the much better team here, but did you believing what you saw in Pittsburgh last week, or does Miami get it going here, especially if Tua's back this week?
Yeah, it all depends on the Tua health. If Tua's back, I would definitely take Miami here. If he's not, then I think it's nothing that interests me here. But if Tua's back, Pittsburgh's defense not particularly good. They'll tear him up, and I'm definitely not a believer in that Pittsburgh offense right now. So it all depends on Tua, but I lean towards Miami.
I'm locking in Miami here. I think Pittsburgh had their big emotional, we beat Tom Brady win and all excited. I think this is a huge letdown spot going on the road. Tua likely back, even if he's not, maybe you get a better number. So maybe you wait on this a little bit. But no, I'm a big fan of the Dolphins here in this one, especially if he is back. This Pittsburgh defense, like Chop mentioned, kind of banged up. Offensively, we don't know. It looks like it may be Trubisky with Pickett dealing with the concussion, but I just think Miami, the much better team, and I think they roll the Steelers in this one. So Miami, best bet for me. Noto, what do you got here?
Yes, sir. Lock that in for me as well. We talked about the Steelers' injuries. They were missing their top 5 guys in the secondary last week. Now, some of them could be back this week, but if Tua's back, I think it's just going to be a huge jolt to the team, to the offense, to everyone. So, love the Dolphins in this spot. Might be my favorite bet of the week.
Yeah, I'm with you. So 2 of us on Miami here. Chop with the lean as well. Let's go to Monday Night Football. Chicago and New England. Big spread here, as you'd expect. Open New England -6. That's been bet up to New England -8, total at 39.5. So, Derek, we'll stay with you. We'll close this thing out. Starting to see some signs of life from the Bears. I wouldn't say it's overly exciting, but at least they're throwing the ball a little bit more. This New England team, though, really playing well offensively, I think is a surprise. And we all laughed about Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, but their offensive metrics have been way up there here. Decent matchup with Chicago. Likely another week for Ramondre Stevenson as the feature back. And then the old quarterback debate. Is it Bailey Zappi? Is it Mac Jones? So big spread to close us out here, Noto. What do you got? Chicago and New England.
I really wish we could have got this at 6.5. I would have felt a lot better about the Patriots, but this is a team that is built to protect the lead. Their defense has been good. The running game has been good, and the Bears, they're a team that's not built to come from behind. So I think if the Patriots can, get out to a lead, it's going to be trouble for Justin Fields. New England's a tough place to play. So lock me into the Patriots, even though that spread is getting up there.
All right, Chop, let's go to you. Let's finish this thing off. Bears, Patriots, big spread. You went Noto here on the home team, or are you taking the points with Chicago?
Yeah, I'm with the Patriots in this one with a lean here. Patriots, I don't have any best bets, I don't believe. So, yeah, Chicago's they're such a dumpster fire on offense, man. And the Patriots are probably a better team with Ramondre and Zappi at quarterback and running back, that combination. So I lean towards the Patriots here.
That's my lean as well. No strong take, no best bet on this one. I've spent all my bullets anyway, but New England would be the way I would go in this one, or even an under. Like Noto said, they protect the lead, they get out to a lead, they run the hell out of the ball. Chicago doesn't have the firepower to put up a bunch of points. So it's a small total, but I'd lean the under here as well. All right, Noto, I need one more best bet unless I missed something.
Let's see. I had the Jags, Bengals.
Okay, Cincy, that's what I missed.
Okay.
And then Chop, need a survivor pick, my man. Noto went with Tampa Bay. Who is the survivor pick here for week 7?
Whoa, you got me on that one. I forgot about that. What's the let's see. I don't know who I haven't used yet. I could go them. Or
I could probably find that if you need.
No, I'd take somebody off the board here. Man.
Actually, switch me to the Patriots.
Oh man, that might be a good one.
Okay.
Let me think about that. Yeah, man, I don't see. I mean, when else are we going to use the Patriots? Like,
exactly.
Do or die.
Yeah, I mean,
let's do Patriots.
I think that's a solid. And you guys have been good when you're on the same squad. So mine was eliminated long ago, but I'd probably be on New England as well. Tampa Bay, you just worry. Do they come out and look the same as they looked in Pittsburgh? As bad as Carolina has been, maybe they compete in that one. So both you guys locking in New England. Do a quick recap here of the best bets, and we'll get out of here. Noto, Jacksonville, Cincinnati, Denver, Miami, and New England. Chop is also on Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Denver, Houston, and the Chargers. Mine are Detroit, Washington, Houston, Kansas City, and Miami. And both these guys locking in New England as their favorite survivor pick here in week 7. Guys, and I'll do it. Nice quick shows here with the bye weeks going on. Nice 40, 45-minute pod. Get to hang out, talk some football, talk some spreads. Final thoughts for the people here. Noto, we'll get started with you.
Yeah, quick shows are always good. They're an easier listen as well, so you're not having to, listen to us talk for 3 hours. But yeah, Chiefs. So they restructured Travis Kelce's contract. So they're now rumors going around about Odell Beckham and Christian McCaffrey. So that would be fun.
That would be fun. Let's add another running back to the mix in Kansas. Imagine him with Mahomes. So that would be awesome. So yeah, I could see them loading up, especially if you lose to Buffalo. Like, oh well, we got to add some more firepower here. Would love to see McCaffrey on the move, get him out of Carolina. Chop, final thoughts, week 7. What do you got, buddy?
That's too many rumors for McCaffrey. That he's definitely getting moved. Where there's smoke, there's always fire. So I'd be on the lookout for that one. But yeah, let's keep this ball rolling, man. Got some spread picks. Let's figure this thing out. It should be fun, man. We got NBA cranked up now,
yes.
And don't forget, I'm gonna sit back tonight and watch my Astros in the ALCS. Hopefully take down the Yankees, man. That'd be embarrassing to lose to the Yankees.
No, any NBA thoughts for tonight? You're a resident NBA guy. We're recording on a Wednesday. People may listen to after the fact, but the people that get the early version, anything going on in the NBA tonight?
I hate the first big slate of the year. There's like a million guys that, pop in projections, and yeah, it's tough. So make a bunch of lineups. That's going to be my advice. But yeah, love the Astros tonight. I can't ask for a better spot. Yankees, no rest after partying last night. Got Verlander on the mound. Love it.
Did you guys see that bomb that Kyle Schwarber hit yesterday? My God, did he just decimate that ball? Shocking win. Phillies taking a 1-0 lead. So, again, scoresandodds.com. We've talked about basketball, baseball, football, hockey, all the sports over there. Check out the lines. Check out the premium picks. See the betting splits. Just so much information. So, go and check that out. Also, BetMGM, promo code Grinders, get that risk-free bet up to $1,000. Take advantage of that special offer. So thank you again for listening, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed another week of the picks. We'll try to stay hot here on the show. For Chop, for Noto, I am Beer. We are the DFS OGs. Thank you so much for listening. Good luck with your bets in DFS this week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Kick off the new pro football season with the king of sportsbooks. Sign up at BetMGM using bonus code GRINDERS, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Michigan, Mississippi, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Puerto Rico, Tennessee, Virginia, Washington, D.C., West Virginia, Wyoming, or Ontario only. Must be 21 years or older to wager. 19 or older in Ontario. New customer offer only. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Excludes Michigan disassociated persons. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 in Colorado, D.C., Kansas, Louisiana, Nevada, Wyoming, or Virginia. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help in Michigan. 1-800-GAMBLER in Indiana, Maryland, New Jersey, or West Virginia. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789 in Tennessee, or call 1-888-777-9696 in Mississippi and Ontario. If you have any questions or concerns about your gambling or someone close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. Sports betting is void in Georgia, Hawaii, Ohio, and Utah, and other states where prohibited. Promotional offers not available in Nevada and New York.